Diana. One day, you'll become all that you dream of and more. And everything will be different. This world is not yet ready for all that you will do. You will become a legend.
In the next year, Warner Brothers Pictures is bringing you the biggest premieres
So this is the Suicide Squad.
in theaters and streaming exclusively on HBO Max. The exact same day.
But they're what now?
Theaters and streaming on HBO Max beginning December 25th.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Wonder Woman 1984 trailer video, and I'll break down what's happening with the 2021 movies that Warner Brothers is releasing on HBO Max. They revealed all of their movies next year are going to be coming to HBO Max. It's crazy. Everybody freaked out when they announced the news. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Because of this big HBO Max plan, we'll do giveaways for HBO Max subscriptions, or if you live outside the United States and you don't get HBO Max, it'll just be for the equivalent price. Don't worry, if you don't have HBO Max in your country, they have other ways they're releasing the movie around the same time in your country, so you won't have to worry about missing out. But just starting with the big stuff first, number 5, if you guys didn't know what was happening this past weekend, they released this new Wonder Woman 1984 trailer at Brazil Comic-Con CCXP. That's usually the biggest Comic-Con style convention at the end of the year in December around the world. So typically DC, Marvel, Sony with their Spider-Man stuff do a big Comic-Con panel every year at CCXP. This year, because of the virus though, Marvel and Sony just completely skipped out. So there was nothing from the Marvel movies, nothing from the Sony Spider-Man movies, but Warner Brothers did a full-blown 6-hour panel, and normally that would be amazing. We just got DC Fandom, which is basically an entire weekend of DC movies. But what wound up happening is that the panel that they did at CCXP was basically them just re-airing a lot of the same clips and trailers from DC Fandom earlier this year. So everybody kind of felt like they phoned it in, metaphorically and literally, because all the panels were conducted via Zoom video chat. James Gunn did everything he could to try and hype up the Suicide Squad movie, and I am really excited to see what he did with that, but they didn't really bring any new footage, so it just wasn't that exciting. We did get a little new Wonder Woman footage though, and this past weekend, of course, there was the news that Warner Brothers dropped that biggest bomb of bombs on the rest of the movie industry around the world, releasing all their 2021 movies on HBO Max. We're all kind of waiting to see how the other studios react to that, and Disney is getting ready for a big investor meeting December 10th in the next week. So everyone's kind of expecting to see what Disney's reaction to this is going to be. But just talking about the footage real quick, number 4, during the new trailer footage, they start on Washington, D.C. and Georgetown, where it seems like everything is super chill. You just see the city streets, people walking around. They have so much fun with 80s stuff during this movie. It's going to be crazy. But while this is happening, you get the voiceover from Hippolyta talking to a young version of Wonder Woman, the little girl version in the flashbacks, about her powers and what her future's going to be like because of who she is and what she can do. Just like they did during that first Wonder Woman movie, part of the story takes place in the past when she was young, but most of the movie takes place in 1984. The big contest that they show you in the past is them doing a version of the classic Greek games from ancient history, because remember, these are Amazons, they come from Greek history, the Greek gods. The Olympics come from the Greeks, so of course the Amazons would celebrate a version of the Olympics on Themyscira. All that stuff is meant to provide some context for the overall message of the movie, like the moral of the movie, and remind Wonder Woman herself in present day what her responsibility is to the world when things go completely off the rails. because she does get swept up in the moment and succumbs to temptation like everyone else because of what Maxwell Lord and Cheetah are doing during the movie. That's where all the Steve Trevor stuff starts happening in present day. I know everybody's still kind of wondering what the context is for him and how he comes back and whether or not he's real or he's fake and she's just imagining it. He's very real, and it's all about this special black rock that was created by a god to grant people wishes. Only it works in a very twisted way. If you're a big anime fan, think about it like a Full Metal Alchemist situation, the law of equal exchange. You have to give something in order to get something. Then to highlight this, while that voiceover is still happening, you see her dancing with Steve Trevor at the Washington Monument, the return to Steve Trevor. Then things start to get crazy. You see people in London on the other side of the planet going crazy in the streets, everyone starts to riot. This is from much later in the movie, so they kind of jump around in the timeline of the film through the trailer. Then there's a more complete version of the scene with her in present day lassoing a jet and using it to fly through the air. Just think of it as quick travel. And then you see her use that to glide through the air in the clouds. Eventually you see her floating in the clouds without any assistance, and she pauses for just a hot second while she full-on lassos a lightning bolt. I think if you consider that the lasso of truth is so powerful, it's created by the gods, and there's a lot of this celestial god-level magic in play, it's a little easier to make that leap in logic, like, oh, okay, she's the daughter of Zeus. One of Zeus's trademark abilities is throwing lightning bolts. She should also have some affinity for lightning as well. They got into that a little bit during that final battle in the first Wonder Woman movie with Ares, where she starts throwing lightning at him. Like, she can actually channel lightning the way that Zeus would channel lightning. I think they draw the line at the idea that she can't generate lightning the way that Zeus can generate lightning. We actually see a little bit of that during the Justice League Snyder Cut trailer, with the version of Zeus from the big flashback Darkseid War actually just throwing lightning bolts at Darkseid. One of the other really cool things during the Wonder Woman panel, though, is actually Pedro Pascal talking about his Maxwell Lord villain character. Pedro Pascal said that they were playing up the 80s vibe during the movie so much that he actually tried to take his villain performance to Nicolas Cage territory. He didn't list any specific Nicolas Cage impression that he was trying to do during the movie, but just think about the way Nicolas Cage goes full 100% Cage in some of his scenes, like this Ghost Rider scene. It's just completely over the top. So after doing all these Star Wars Mandalorian Season 2 videos with him being all subdued, wearing the helmet all the time, it'll be fun to see him go completely in the other direction with his performances in Wonder Woman 1984. But number 2, of course, the bigger news of this past week is Warner Brothers deciding to release all of its 2021 movies on HBO Max next year. Everybody flipped out, not just regular people like you and me, but also the people that own the movie studios, all the theater owners. What's actually happening, though, is that when each of the movies are released throughout the year, they're dropping on HBO Max and in movie theaters where movie theaters are open on the same day. The movies will only be available on HBO Max for about a month after they're released, and then they'll take them off and send them to regular VOD like iTunes, where you have to pay full price to watch them. Then a couple months after that, they'll probably come back to HBO Max for longer, but all the while allowing theaters to show them and earn ticket sales. If you're already paying for HBO Max, you don't have to pay extra to get all these movies. Essentially, they're free, but you're already paying the price for the subscription of HBO Max. So technically, they're not free, but you don't have to pay extra. It's not like Disney releasing Mulan and charging you extra on top of the Disney Plus fee. This is a one sheet of all the movies that are coming next year they were highlighting. The only thing you'll see that isn't on here is the Justice League Snyder Cut, because these movies that are on here were originally supposed to be theatrical releases, and the Justice League Snyder Cut was always going to be HBO Max. Wonder Woman 1984 is obviously the big one. That's dropping Christmas Day, December 25th. Of course, I'll do videos for that. There's the new Mortal Kombat movie, Justice League Snyder Cut, Tom and Jerry, Godzilla vs. Kong, Space Jam, the Suicide Squad movie, the new Dune movie, and Matrix 4 at the end of the year. So number 1, of course, everyone's now asking, what's this going to do to Disney and all the Marvel movies, and really all of Disney's movies in general, because they're like the other big studio. Sony still has a lot of big Spider-Man stuff, but they're not quite as big as Disney. Will they also try to release their movies on Disney Plus, doing something similar? So right now, Black Widow is actually the first Marvel movie of 2021, and it's not coming out till May. What's probably going to happen with that is that things will be less terrible in the world by that time, so the theater situation won't be as bad, but it still won't be back to 100% till the end of 2021. So what Disney's probably going to do is they'll still release all their movies in theaters like they planned, but within like a week or two of them releasing them in theaters, they'll send the movies straight to VOD, so they won't wait that long before releasing stuff on VOD. But right now, I'm in the middle of making Star Wars Mandalorian Season 2 episodes. After the finale in a couple weeks, and after Wonder Woman 1984 drops, the Avengers WandaVision episodes will start, and I will be doing weekly videos for that. Marvel has a ton of stuff coming to Disney Plus in 2021, between all the Marvel Disney Plus series like the Avengers Endgame spin-offs. Spider-Man 3 is still coming out December 2021 as of me making this video, so that movie's probably going to be fine. Things will probably be mostly back to normal by then. I know there's a lot of live-action Spider-Verse questions because of something that happened the past couple of days. I do have a separate video planned about that just for Spider-Man stuff. But everybody let me know in the comments, what do you think about this HBO Max movies plan for 2021? But I'll try to post that Spider-Man 3 Spider-Verse video later tonight. While you wait for everything, click here for my brand new Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 6 video, and click here for that brand new Justice League Snyder Cut trailer that they just released. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.